I think we're live.
Okay.
Yep. Hi Tayyab, how are you?
I'm good, Vani. How are you?
I'm fine as well. So what are we going to read today?
We are going to read this amazing story by this French author, जो कि वानी ज़्यादा बेहतर तरीके से बता पाएगी.
Yeah, it's Antoine
Yeah.
de Saint-Exupéry. I mean, I could be wrong, but still.
So the story's name or the book's name is The Little Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure most of you have heard of it. और नहीं सुना है तो आज सुन लो भाई, because this is
I
a
did a
very
dedicated stream on this
oh
once. I don't know. I was having a bad day and I just sat down. And nobody replied us puri stream mein, so I was pretty pissed at the end of it. But yeah. Jibin is here in the comments. It's one of Jibin wrote me an email about this book because I spoke so much about this book. He picked it up and yeah. So hi Amir. Oh, Amir is very excited. Tayyab in the house.
अच्छा. Thank you
Jibin
भाई,
is here,
आमिर भाई,
Saptarshi is
जिबिन
here,
भाई,
and Aniruddha is here.
सप्तऋषि भी आ गया है. सप्तऋषि भाई कुछ रामायण से कुछ जोड़ के बताइएगा, इस बार भी कुछ मजा है.
Yep. So what are we going to read? So we're going to read the Little Prince Aj. And shall we start with the dedication, pehle? Or would you like to start with the dedication?
Yeah, sure.
So guys, हम first 2 chapters पढ़ेंगे शायद roughly or how much time it allows us. And I mean, ठीक है. So let's just start.
So I'll start with the
Yeah.
The Little Prince. I ask the indulgence of the children who may read this book for dedicating it to a grown-up.
Yeah.
I have a serious reason. He is the best friend I have in the world. I have another reason. This grown-up understands everything, even books about children. I have a third reason. He lives in France where he is hungry and cold. Okay. He needs cheering up. If all these reasons are not enough, I will dedicate the book to the child whom this grown up grew. All grown ups were once children, although few of them remember it. And so I correct my dedication to Leon Worth when he was a little boy.
This is one of my favorite dedications.
This is so
Oh,
good.
by the way, one of my really good friends is in the comment. His name is Sukaran. Hi, Sukaran. How are you? Have you read the book? Jibin is asking when will Vaibhav read Little Prince?
Maybe next year, 2020 सबके लिए बुरा जा रहा है. 2021 शायद थोड़ा अच्छा रहेगा.
And
या मे बी हो सकता है वैभव ये वाला स्ट्रीम देख के थोड़ा मोटिवेट हो जाए. And we are able to
I texted him before this stream. We are planning to read The Little Prince, and he said मुझे FOMO हो रहा है, but sadly I won't be able to attend the whole stream as I have another important meeting to attend. Saptarshi. Okay. So what did you like about the dedication?
I mean, like almost half of the dedication you try to understand what he's actually trying to say. और फिर जब वो बोलता है कि if all of these reasons are not enough, तो फिर वो मतलब आपको झंझोड़ने वाली बात होती है ना, that you were also once child, so I'm talking to that child. और फिर वो एक्चुअली आपके अंदर का बच्चा निकल के आता है कि हाँ ठीक है, now there is something for me.
Yeah.
अच्छा है. And once you start reading the story, वो इंट्रोडक्शन अगर आपको नहीं हिला पाया तो स्टोरी का पहला पन्ना ही हिला देगा भाई. मैं बता रहा हूँ.
Yeah, the first chapter is one of my favorite chapters. I mean, I was so crazy. मेरा इसका part of I had a reference like Instagram पे initially there used to be like this वो जो caption bio आती है तो my bio hinted at this book. But yeah, back then I did not know anybody who read it. Not even Sukaran is in the comments. Saptarshi is saying that 2020 is so bad that RCB qualified for the playoffs, but RR couldn't.
I have no idea about this cricket stuff, but हाँ ठीक है सप्तऋषि
Yeah.
भाई आप जो बोल रहे हो बिल्कुल सही है.
Okay, so let's start with first chapter, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to
आप
go?
स्टार्ट करिए, आप स्टार्ट
Okay.
करिए, मैं बीच में ज्वाइन कर.
Once, when I was 6 years old, I saw a magnificent picture in the book called True Stories from Nature about the Primaval Forest. It was a picture of a boa constrictor in the act of swallowing an animal. Here is a copy of the drawing. This was the drawing, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the book, it said boa constrictors swallow their prey whole without chewing it. After that, they are not able to move and they sleep through the 6 months that they need for digestion. I pondered deeply then over the adventures of the jungle. And after some work with a colored pencil I succeeded in making my first drawing. My drawing number 1, it looked something like this. So इस book में काफी drawings हैं, but most of them make sense. That's a good thing about the.
I think I'll pause just for 5 seconds. Manish
Yeah.
पाटिल भाई ने क्या सुपर
Oh.
चैट करी है या कुछ मतलब
Yeah,
this is my
super
first
chat
time so
करी
I
है.
don't know. Yeah. So he's
9th
saying कि
November को कालसकान का
Alsigan का birthday.
Yeah.
Okay. ठीक है, we'll plan something for that. ठीक है, we'll see.
Yes.
चलो. Thank
We're
you, bye
adding
Manish
it
bhai.
to our reminders. So it looked something like this.
Yeah. So this is the picture which the
Which
kid
he drew सबसे
Yeah.
पहले. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a child, after watching the boa constrictor, after realizing what boa constrictors were. I showed my masterpiece to the grown-ups and asked them whether the drawing frightened them, but they answered, "Frightened? Why should anyone be frightened by a hat?" My drawing was not a picture of a hat. It was a picture of a boa constrictor digesting an elephant. But since the grown-ups were not able to understand it, I made another drawing. I drew the inside of a boa constrictor so that the grown-ups could see it clearly. They always need to have things explained. My drawing number 2 looked something like this.
Yeah.
So his second drawing is, oh wait, you can't see it.
He's
His second drawing
really
is,
trying very hard to make people understand what he's talking about.
yeah. So his second drawing aisi thi, and he says the grown-up's response this time was to advise me to lay aside my drawings of boa constrictors, whether from the inside or the outside, and devote myself instead to geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar. That is why at the age of 6, I gave up what might have been a magnificent career as a painter. I had been disheartened by the failure of my drawing number 1 and my drawing number 2. Grown-ups never understand anything by themselves, and it is tiresome for children to be always and forever explaining things to them. So then I chose another profession and learned to pilot airplanes. I've flown a little over all parts of the world, and it is true that geography has been very useful to me. At a glance, I can distinguish China from Arizona. If one gets lost in the night, such knowledge is valuable. I love this line because you won't get lost. So, like, knowledge like distinguishing China from Arizona is very important. Um, in the course of this life, I have had great many encounters with a great many people who have been concerned with matters of consequence. I have lived a great deal among grown ups. I have seen them intimately close at hand, and that hasn't much improved my opinion of them. Whenever I met one of them who seemed to be to me at all clear sighted, I tried the experiment of showing him my drawing number 1, which I have always kept. I would try to find out if this was a person of true understanding, but whoever it was, he or she would always say, "This is a hat." Then I would never talk to that person about boa constrictors or forests or stars. I would bring myself down to his level. I would talk to him about bridge and golf and politics and neckties. And the grown up would be greatly pleased to have met such a sensible man. I love this. And I love the matters of consequence.
Yeah.
I use it a lot.
So that was chapter 1.
Yeah. It's a pretty short book.
Huh. About 68 or 70 odd pages. Yeah.
Yep. My copy has 144 pages. This is like
Okay.
This is by I think FP Classics, Fingerprint Classic. I think the publication's name is Fingerprint Classics. So they take out these pocket copies, and
Okay.
this I have a lot of copies of The Little Prince, but this is something I keep with me like all the time because it's a pocket classic. So you can carry it around and it's only for 99 rupees.
आएगा भाई आएगा. So chapter 2.
Yep. Do you want to read it?
Yeah, ठीक है. Chapter 2. So I lived my life alone without anyone that I could really talk to until I had an accident with my plane in the desert of Sahara 6 years ago. Something was broken in my engine, and I, and as I had with me neither a mechanic nor any passengers, I set myself to attempt the difficult repairs all alone. It was a question of life or death for me. I had scarcely enough drinking water to last a week. The first night, then, I went to sleep on the sand, 1,000 miles from any human habitation. I was more isolated than a shipwrecked sailor on a raft in the middle of the ocean. Thus, you can imagine my amazement. At sunrise, when I was awakened by an odd little voice, it said, "If you please, draw me a sheep." What? Draw me a sheep. I jumped to my feet completely thunderstruck. I blinked my eyes hard. I looked carefully all around me and I saw a most extraordinary small person who stood there examining me with great seriousness. Here you may see the best portrait that later I was able to make of him. Okay. But my drawing is certainly very much less charming than its model. तो अगर वानी दिखा सके
Yeah.
हमको वो,
This is the
this is the drawing. That, however, is not my fault. The grown ups discouraged me in my painter's career when I was 6 years old, and I never learned to draw anything except boas from the outside and boas from the inside. Okay.
yeah.
Now I stared at this sudden apparition with my eyes fairly starting out of my head in astonishment. Remember, I had crashed in the desert 1,000 miles from any inhabited region, and yet my little man seemed neither to be straying uncertainly among the sands nor to be fainting from fatigue or hunger or thirst or fear. Nothing about him gave any suggestion of a child lost in the middle of the desert, 1,000 miles from any human habitation. When at last I was able to speak, I said to him, "What? What are you doing here?" And in answer, he repeated very slowly, as if he was speaking of a matter of great consequence, "If you please, draw me a sheep." When a mystery is too overpowering, one dare not disobey. Absurd as it might seem to me, 1,000 miles from any human habitation in a danger of death, I took out my pocket I took out of my pocket a sheet of paper and my fountain pen. But then I remembered how my studies had been concentrated on geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar, and I told the little chap, a little crossly too, that I did not know how to draw. He answered me, "That doesn't matter. Draw me a sheep." But I had never drawn a sheep, so I drew for him one of the two pictures I had drawn so often. It was that of a boa constrictor from the outside, and I was astounded to hear the little fellow greet it with, "No, no, no. I do not want an elephant inside a boa constrictor. A boa constrictor is a very dangerous creature, and an elephant is very cumbersome. Where I live, everything is very small. What I need is a sheep. Draw me a sheep." So then I made a drawing. So this is the drawing that he made finally. He looked at it carefully, then he said, "No, this sheep is already very sickly. Make me another." So I made another drawing. My friend smiled gently, indulgently. You see yourself, he said, that this is not a sheep. This is a ram.
Thanks.
It has horns. So then I did my drawing over once more. Now, this is the third drawing of the sheep,
Yeah.
but it was rejected too, just like the others. This one is too old. I want a sheep that will live a long time. Okay. By this time, my patience was exhausted because I was in a hurry to start taking my engine apart. So I tossed off this drawing and I threw out an explanation with it. So this is the drawing, if Vani could show.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is nothing at all
But
a
a
sheep.
box.
ठीक है, तो वो बताता है फिर. This is only his box. The sheep you asked for it for is inside. Okay. I was very surprised to see a light break over the face of my young judge. That is exactly the way I wanted it. Do you think that this sheep will have to have a great deal of grass? Why? Because where I live everything is very small. There will surely be enough grass for him. I said, it is a very small sheep that I have given you. Okay. He bent his head over the drawing. Not so small that, look, he has gone to sleep. And that is how I made the acquaintance of the little prince. Okay.
That's the end of
That was
second chapter.
very absurd, but very amusing.
What were you? So you had you heard of this book pehle bhi, or like was it your first time?
I did hear of this book पहले भी मतलब और I think there is some animated movie plus some movie
Yeah.
मैंने देखी नहीं है बट हाँ I've heard some कुछ कुछ उसके बारे में सुना है और वो यूजुअली यही था कि बच्चों के लिए किताब है और बट आई डेंट नो कि एक्चुअली ये हर आदमी जो बड़ा हो चुका है उसके अंदर जो बच्चा है उसके लिए किताब है.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting because when I read it for the first time, I realized it's actually for grown-ups. Like kids won't get it. Like
हाँ
I
kids
gave
won't
it,
actually get it.
yeah, I gave it to my brother who was like 12 at that time, and he was like, "Why did he like?" Okay, this was I was about to give a spoiler, but he was like pretty disappointed. He was
Okay.
like, kuch bhi. And I was like, okay, this kid won't get it. That's why I realized it's for, yeah.
Yeah. I kind of made this mistake too. मैंने अपनी छोटी सिस्टर को बर्थडे पे एन फ्रैंक की डायरी दी थी
Yeah.
because I don't know why I thought of this but मुझे लगा कि maybe वो बच्चे की कहानी है तो maybe she'll understand और वो इतनी छोटी भी नहीं है. She was in around 11th standard but वो 2 पन्ने पढ़ने के बाद में she was like what is happening, why should I be reading this. फिर जब मैंने पढ़ी तो मुझे समझ में आया कि this is maybe written by a younger person but not actually for a younger person.
Untrack is very depressing.
हाँ वो वही अब मैं उसको गिफ्ट की तौर पे कैसे दूं मतलब.
But it
So
was
yeah,
a good gift. Yeah.
पता नहीं मे बी बड़े होकर के she'll understand.
Yeah.
ठीक है तो chapter 2 is over.
Do you want us to read chapter 3? But Saptarshi has asked a lot of things. I
हम
wish
एक
I
बार
could.
कमेंट्स देख लेते हैं क्या हो रहा है.
Yeah. Fruity Chakra has asked, hey Vani, is this one of your favorite? Yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite books. One of my, I don't know if that was grammatically correct. Saptarshi saying, I wish I could ever draw as well as the elephant inside the boa constrictor image.
मैं बोलता हूँ भाई ट्राई करके देखो शायद बना सकते हैं. सोचने से क्या होगा. ड्राइंग में मेरे हिसाब से काफी बचपन में बहुत करते थे हम लोग. अब शायद छूट गया है ड्राइंग वाला पार्ट.
I could never draw. I don't know. I don't think I was. Yep. I gifted my sister 400 pages of depression. TAYYAB 2020.
अननोइंगली ठीक है उसके बाद कॉमा लगा के लिखो भाई. आई डिडंट नो.
Who or
Okay.
what, in your opinion? You haven't read The Little Prince, right?
नहीं
Tayyab?
I haven't. This is my first time
So it's
reading
just one of us.
chapter 2. Yeah.
Yeah. So आपने कब कहाँ तक पढ़ी थी अभी जब like I sent you the
Chapter 1.
PDF?
Chapter 1.
So
मेरे
that
को
was all you
chapter
had
1
read.
पढ़ के इतना मजा आया था मेरे को. मैंने शायद chapter 1 2 बार पढ़ लिया था और वो जो इंट्रोडक्शन वाला पार्ट था वो तो काफी बार पढ़ लिया था.
See, I'm pretty certain you'll enjoy it. Maybe in the next stream you can, by the next stream you can finish this up. And
डेफिनेटली
then
मैं
we can
शायद इसको
discuss it.
आजकल में ही पूरा हाँ प्लीज ये वाला मुझे करना है. या
Yeah. So guys, let us know when do you want us to stream a dedicated stream for The Little Prince. And let us know kisne The Little Prince padhi. That'll be pretty cool. Shall we continue on the chapter 3 or?
That depends on our viewers. अभी क्या
Yeah.
scene चल रहा है? In the earlier comments, Saptarishi was about कि जिस बंदे ने इसको actually translate करा वो काफी अच्छा काम किया है.
Yeah. That's like really nice.
Because reading these chapters right now, मुझे नहीं लग रहा कि ये translated. I feel like this was written in the native English language itself.
Yep.
But अगर ये French से English में आया है तो बहुत कुछ काम किया करना पड़ा होगा translator को.
Yep, I'm trying to find who the translator is. I noted there. So there's a small note at the beginning of this book. It says, after a slew of failures and odd jobs, Saint Exupéry began his military service in 1921 as a basic rank soldier with the 2nd Regiment of Light Cavalry, for which he was sent to Neuhof near Strasbourg. While there, he took private flying lessons, and the following year was offered a transfer from the French Army to the French Air Force. He considered himself a pilot above all else. For 20 years, he flew everything from cartography missions to commercial airlines, and flying occupied a significant place in his philosophical essays and fantasy writings. The theme of aviation was often his launching point for more abstract discussions on issues like the search for wisdom and the meaning of life. He began writing The Little Prince during World War II, after Germany's invasion of France had forced him to give up aviation and flee to New York. In addition to his torturous thoughts of the war in Europe, having to leave his homeland and no longer being able to fly planes affected him deeply. The novel's nostalgia for childhood indicates both Saint-Exupéry's homesick desire to return to France and his hope of returning to a time of peace. Yep. I actually was so obsessed with this book that at one point I saw like, I'll just get that book. Give me a second. Can you just?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, excuse me. I was so obsessed with the. Were you saying something?
No.
Good. So I was so obsessed with him, the author, that uski aur bhi works in like there's the wind, the stars, wind, sand, and the stars, and so on and so forth. So there was this book that I found on Amazon. It wasn't in India. It was going to be shipped from somewhere in California, I guess.
Okay.
And it's called A Guide for Grown-Ups. Essential Wisdom from the Collected Works of Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. And when I saw this, I thought it's a collected work. Okay. But it's essential wisdom from the collected works. So it's like the best of quotes from all his works.
Oh.
And this book is what for like, I think $1,800 or something. And iski shipping mujhe double padi thi. And then I had ordered this as a Valentine's gift for myself. But yeah, and then I was so disappointed to see the. Can you see it?
I can, yeah.
Yeah. And I was so disappointed to receive it because it's just quotes. But like, they're pretty interesting if you think about it. But yeah. So for example.
Maybe this is meant to be a Valentine's gift that you will give to somebody in the future. इसलिए अभी आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. ठीक है. So there is a longer play there. ठीक है. जिंदगी बहुत लंबी है मेरे दोस्त. Wait करते हैं देखते हैं.
I don't know if but yeah, the contents are like, this is the contents यहाँ पे are divided into happiness, friendship, love, responsibility, fortitude, and then what is essential. Shall I read a quote?
Yeah, please do.
Pick a number from 1 to 83.
What?
Pick a number from 1 to 83. I'll just read a quote.
47.
That's it's I think one of the longest quotes. It's from the book The Wisdom of the Sands, and it says, okay. You have nothing guiding you but the discipline which comes from your corporal, who keeps watch over you. And if the corporals have doubts of themselves, they have no discipline save that which comes to them from their sergeants who keep watch on them, and the sergeants get theirs from the captains who keep watch on them. And thus why, stage by stage, up to myself, who have but God to rule my ways, and if I doubt myself, I'm out of plumb or broken reef. I did not get it.
नहीं
It's just that,
थोड़ा डिसिप्लिन और थोड़ा जिंदगी
yeah,
कैसे
yeah,
चलती है उसके ऊपर है थोड़ा थोड़ा
yeah.
सीरियसनेस है या
I think it's just like someone is always keeping a watch on you, and then someone is always keeping a watch on someone who's keeping a watch on you. So there's
या
always a check that way.
तो इफ यू रिमेंबर सम ऑफ द गुड कोट्स फ्रॉम दिस बुक क्योंकि रैंडमली मैं नंबर चूज करूंगा तो दैट विल बी अ वेरी बैड
Yeah.
थिंग
One
आप
of
बताइए
them
कुछ
was
अच्छा सा
about friendship. I just
अच्छा
quickly go to friendship. Yep. Give me a second. It says, when we exchange manly handshakes, compete in races, join together to save one of us who's in trouble, cry around aloud for help in the hour of danger, only then do we learn that we are not alone on earth. One. And two, old friends cannot be created out of hand. Nothing can match the treasure of common memories, of trials endured together, of quarrels and reconciliations and generous emotions. It is idle, having planted an acorn in the morning, to expect that afternoon to sit in the shade of the oak. This is about friendship.
so all these quotes are from this same
Not from the
person
Little Prince. Yeah, from the same person. He wrote
so I
other books
think
as
this
well.
is a very very nice thing at least for me right now okay you'll get to know the quotes and then you if you are very
Yeah.
much inspired by the quote you might have to figure out what is the story behind it तो हाँ
True.
बिल्कुल
You
these
know
are like
what?
small in introductions for some great stories there
Yeah.
yeah
I did not choose any quote from the Little Prince, so you're not surprised when you pick it up, like, because I don't want to ruin anything for you, because Little Prince has such lovely quotes and
abhi at this
metaphors.
place in the book right now at chapter 3 I still don't understand what could actually happen matlab I have still no idea
What do
I'm
you
just
think?
amazed
What do you think are the uh, what do we call it? Origins of the Little Prince.
I don't know maybe it's the author's childhood memories or something like
So he's in the
the way I
desert,
think मतलब हाँ मुझे
right?
यही लगता है मुझे पता है कि you have read the book and you know actually what is behind this और मेरे
Yeah,
को
yeah,
तो वो पता चलेगा ही नहीं obviously but अभी मुझे यही लग रहा है कि this is the author talking about his childhood how maybe not many people understood what he was trying to say
yeah, yeah. That is something we've established. Like,
हाँ
this
that
is
is
like
something
his.
that I can talk about हाँ
Of course. But like, if you were to say, where did this Little Prince come from? What would your wild guess be? Like, from what country, from what part of the earth, etc.,
the
etc.
little prince is the little guy in the desert right who came out
Yeah,
of nowhere I don't know. Maybe he lives in this desert only, and our guy crashed landed in his
correct.
land. मुझे नहीं
Cool.
पता देखते हैं क्या होता है
Ayush has commented, yes, translators play a huge role in capturing the essence of the story, especially when they have to change the tone of the entire book to Russian English. Yeah, Russian
okay
books are very difficult to translate. This is what I've
Russian
learned that,
Solaris right
yeah,
have you heard about that book Solaris right
I've heard about the book, I think.
that
I'm
is
not
a
certain.
Russian book
Yeah, I've realized, like, when you go for translated books, pick the most recent
mm-hmm.
translation. It'll be always better. It'll always be better than the previous translation,
yeah
95% of the times.
बिल्कुल 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 if there are multiple translations so you should get the recent one yeah
Saptarshi has commented, Tayyab is in for a big surprise.
I am. I think I am. And please don't spoil the surprise. किसी को भी spoiler देना नहीं चाहिए.
Do you
We'll
want
see.
to read the third chapter, maybe?
अगर आपको पढ़ना है तो मुझे
Because
तो
it'll
पढ़ना ही
be
पढ़ना
his,
है.
I think its third chapter is all about his origin. So maybe we can get a live reaction out of him.
ठीक है.
What do you
ठीक है.
think, guys?
Yeah, I am up for the live reaction. तुम
Good.
लोग डरा रहे हो यार मेरे को सप्तऋषि शिरवानी.
So
तुमने
I'll
झेल
read
लिया.
and you can react. Good.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Great. It took me a long time to learn where he came from, the little prince, who asked me so many questions, never seemed to hear the ones I asked him. It was from words dropped by chance that, little by little, everything was revealed to me. The first time he saw my airplane, for instance, I shall not draw my airplane, that would be much too complicated for me. But he asked me, "What is that object?" That is not an object, it flies, it's an airplane. It is my airplane. And I was proud to have him learn that I could fly. He cried out then, "What? You dropped down from the sky?" "Yes," I answered, modestly. "Oh, that is funny." And the little prince broke into a lovely peal of laughter which irritated me very much. I like my misfortunes to be taken seriously. Then he added, "So, you too came from the sky. Which is your planet?" At that moment, I caught a gleam of light in
Oh,
the impenetrable mystery of his presence, and I demanded, abruptly, "Do you come from another planet?" But he did not reply. He tossed his head gently without taking his eyes off from my plane. "It is true that on that you can't have come from very far away." And he sank into a reverie which lasted a long time. Then, taking my sheep out of his pocket, he buried himself in the contemplation of his treasure. Is there a comment? No, sorry.
okay.
And he said, "You can imagine how my curiosity was aroused by this half confidence about the other planets. I made a great effort, therefore, to find out more on this subject. My little man, where do you come from? What is this where I live of which you speak? Where do you want to take your sheep?" After reflective silence, he answered, "The thing that is so good about the box you have given me is that at night he can use it as his house." "That is so, and if you're good, I will give you a string too, so that you can tie him during the day and post to tie him to." But the little prince seemed shocked by this offer. "Tie him? What a queer idea! But if you don't tie him, he will wander off somewhere and get lost." My friend broke into another peal of laughter. "But where do you think he would go?" "Anywhere, straight ahead of him." Then the little prince said earnestly, "That doesn't matter. Where I live, everything is so small." And with perhaps a hint of sadness, he added, "Straight ahead of him, nobody can go very far."
Okay.
Okay, we didn't realize where he comes from in this chapter.
Yeah, so things have little bit cleared, little bit, लेकिन और ज़्यादा complication बढ़ गया है एकदम से. ठीक है, चीज़ें 10 to 100 जा चुकी है मुझे लग रहा है.
Yeah.
You're talking about planets and all, और जितने लोग स्ट्रीम में मेरे को जानते हैं, mad about planets and all. So ये
It's
कुछ
not,
अलग ही जा रहा है.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know if we should go on to chapter 4 though.
No, I think it's enough reading for today.
Yeah.
But हाँ, बाकी comments में if somebody wants to ask anything related to this book, as I have literally no questions.
Uh,
और
Tayyab is
वानी,
mildly surprised.
I am kind of surprised. और अभी जैसे मुझे लग रहा है कि things are actually going somewhere बिल्कुल ही अलग. बीच बीच में कुछ sentences hint दे रहे हैं. Things थोड़ी imagination से ज़्यादा related चीजें हैं और reality से कम.
So, what do you think would
The
be the answer?
box is becoming more and more important. तो वो मुझे कुछ लग रहा है कुछ होने वाला है बॉक्स से रिलेटेड बिकॉज
Tayyab is in for a long, big
हाँ यार,
surprise.
हाँ यार.
हमने इसे इतना hype कर दिया, just, yep.
We'll
Have you
see.
seen the movie? No, you haven't.
I haven't.
That's good, that's good.
I don't know,
I
even
read it
if I
after
have,
such a
I don't
long,
remember much. I
yeah.
don't remember if I मैंने शायद अभी आज ही तो आप अपन ने बात करी थी इसके बारे में, अपन रीड वगैरह करेंगे,
Yeah.
तो मैंने शायद YouTube पे कुछ देखा था, तो there was this thumbnail which I do remember watching पहले कभी, but I don't remember actually होता क्या है इसके अंदर.
Cool, great. I read it after a long time. I had forgotten what reading The Little Prince is like.
बढ़िया.
So,
ये वही
yeah.
बात, कुछ मिलना चाहिए पढ़ो तो, ये होती है बात.
Yep.
सही है भाई. तो और क्या चल रहा है कमेंट्स में?
I think it's just Saptarshi. Saptarshi has taken over the comment section.
I have a funny feeling कि if you read this book after smoking things, you will actually be able to imagine vivid images. सही है सप्तऋषि भाई. That would be true for almost any book then, once you start smoking things.
Karki has said that it's one of my all-time favorite books. Immense profundity in 140 pages. I think she has the same copy.
I mean, like the
Karki, do you have
PDF
this copy?
itself is about 65 pages long.
Yeah. It's
Huh.
like it's a very small book, but it depends from copy to copy how many pages it has.
Yeah.
Never
So
thought The Little Prince is a spoilable book, but Tayyab's reaction is awesome. You didn't get it. Except that she paused.
मेरा नेट शायद पंगा कर रहा है.
Okay. I thought you just left. Yeah, your video is
I won't
gone.
leave. आएगा आएगा.
Aika. We'll be hopeful. But yeah, now you can't react if we give you a spoiler. Some books don't require gaseous fuel. Okay, you left. Cool. This is the second time Tayyab has disappeared on me. This is something I used to do to Vaibhav initially when we started streaming. Stream ke beech mein main gayab ho jati thi. And now Tayyab is treating me just like I would treat Vaibhav. Oh, I think Tayyab is back. Yep, Tayyab's data has left the chat. Kafi cool. Tayyab has left the chat, apparently. This is awkward. Yeah. Now I know what Vaibhav used to feel like. But, oh, karma. Yeah, Himanshu, karma. So let me know, have you guys read The Little Prince? It's one of my personal favorite books. And this is something I gift all my friends. All my friends. And like if you are my friend and I've gifted you The Little Prince, it means you're really important. But yeah, Karki. Yes, always gift it to. Yeah, she also gives it to friend. They are so surprised. Beautiful prose and simple words. The original is a classic indeed. One must learn French to be. You know what? I am secretly, it won't be a secret anymore, but I'm trying to learn French because I want to read The Little Prince in original, like in the actual language it was written in. But what happens if both left? The stream would end, TR. RIP Tayyab. Tayyab was Tayyab the Little Prince. Yeah, was your imagination. सप्तर्षि जोक्स को क्या हो गया है Tayyab is back. Yeah, hey. Tayyab, we missed you. So you know what? Like initially when Vaibhav and I started streaming, I would do this to Vaibhav. Okay, you pause again. I won't say anything. SJ Akshay Kumar. I read a while ago when I read 100 books in a year. I don't remember the details, but I remember that the book was very good. It was a fascinating one that gave me a new perspective. Very interested. 100 books in a year. How would you do that? Tayyab, hi Tayyab, are you back? Back? I can't hear you. I think there's some problem with your audio. Saptarshi is trying to, I don't know.
Hello. Can you guys
Yep.
hear?
Yes, we can. I was telling these guys जब Vaibhav और मैंने streaming start करी थी initially. When I started streaming initially, I would do this to Vaibhav. मैं गायब हो जाती थी बीच में because of my network. So Vaibhav would be left alone, staring at himself, alone in the stream. And someone commented karma. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, सही है
Tayyab
सही है. लोग
taking
फॉलो
revenge
करते हैं आपको अच्छी
for his
तरीके
best friend.
से. Yeah.
Yep.
I think I'm very much up for a big surprise जैसे comments में मुझे लग रहा है. तो I'll
Yeah.
probably finish this about कल तक हो जाएगी आराम से.
I think you'll finish it tonight as well if you don't
I
have
think
any
I
other.
will. I will. ये stream बंद करते के साथ ही पढ़ने वाला हूँ मैं ये.
Yeah. Saptarshi just flexed. How many languages do you know, Tayyab?
हिंदी इंग्लिश मतलब मैं काउंट अभी कर रहा हूँ मेरे को खुद को शायद ठीक से काउंट नहीं पता तो हिंदी इंग्लिश उर्दू अरबी संस्कृत एंड
Sanskrit
इफ
for class 5 wali, like the one that
हाँ
we
मतलब आई कैन नॉट राइट बट आई कैन समहाउ रीड ठीक है
Of
और
course.
फिर वही कंप्यूटर लैंग्वेज आई डोंट थिंक काउंट.
Yeah,
तो वो
yeah,
तो
yeah. No,
देयर आर
I did not mean that.
so around four languages: Hindi, English, Urdu, Arabic. Yeah, these I can read and write.
Okay. I only know
What
Hindi
about
and
you?
English. I know Hindi, English. I can understand some French because I'm trying
Okay.
really hard.
Okay.
And I can understand Urdu, बीच में. I can't write Urdu.
Urdu is like almost everybody can understand. Like everybody can hear and reply in Urdu. क्योंकि Urdu is more like Hindi only. बस
But
लिखने
Urdu is
में
very
उरुफ में
difficult.
फर्क है.
Okay, then
Urdu
I
is
am.
difficult for the specific words. But जैसे
Yeah,
अभी मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ तो these exact words अभी मैं आपसे बात कर रहा
yeah,
हूँ.
yeah.
This
That
is
was, yeah.
this is Urdu only.
Yeah, yeah. Then so you
हाँ
can count Hindustani as well. Hindustani is a
हाँ
language, no?
बिल्कुल
Yeah,
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
yeah. And
मेरे
then
को
I know
चाइनीज वाले
dialect.
लोगों से मिलना है. मतलब द
Mandarin.
वंस हु कैन एक्चुअली अंडरस्टैंड एंड राइट चाइनीज. मेरे को एक बार सिर्फ अल्फाबेट ही सीखना है. मतलब आई आई नो कि यूट्यूब करके आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड वेरी इजीली. बट
Yeah.
आई वांट टू मीट एक बंदा जिसको चाइनीज आती हो.
I want to learn French and German.
Oh.
That's it. Yeah.
फ्रेंच वुड बी समथिंग जो फ्यूचर में आगे कभी सोच सकते हैं. बट अभी राइट नाउ तो आई डोंट नो.
Yep. What languages do you want to learn? There are so many people who want to learn French. I wanted to learn French, one, because of this book, but before this book, I wanted to learn French because it's the second most like it's the second language after English, जो सबसे ज़्यादा official documents में use होती है. And I was like, I need to be that smart. That was it.
But yeah, well, I was once reading this essay where
Uh-huh.
this person was discussing that you read something in some language and then you learn another language and you read that translated version on that language. And even though they are supposed to be very similar because these are the same works, but they are completely different because
Yeah.
as the language changes, the mood changes.
Yep.
तो आई नो कि हम शायद फ्रेंच और जर्मन तो इतनी जल्दी सीख करके किताब नहीं पढ़ पाएंगे. बट या यू वी कैन वेरी मच एक्सपेरिमेंट इन हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश ओनली.
Yeah, it's very different.
वो ह्यूमर ही अलग है, वो सीरियसनेस ही अलग है, वो बात ही अलग है.
I,
इवन दो द
I,
ऑथर
yeah.
और द ट्रांसलेटर ट्राइज वेरी हार्ड टू बी ऑन द सेम पेज. बट वो क्या बोलते हैं उसको, वो माहौल ही वैसा नहीं आता.
Yeah. I think that happened to me when I was reading Pablo Neruda ki poems. He's a Spanish poet, and uski ek bahut famous hai, 12 sad poems and a
या
love song, something like that.
या
And I did not like it at all. And I was so like hurt because I wanted to like the book. It was the English translation, and everyone says it's such a good writing, ye wo. And I was just like not into it. And then I think that happens to everyone. Like sometimes you don't. I think a major problem is because Russian is so difficult to translate. A lot of people do not understand Russian literature. Maybe in that particular language, it's very pretty and beautiful. But yeah,
आई थिंक कि जैसे अभी मुश्किल तो हमको समझ में आ ही रहा है कि इट इज वेरी हार्ड टू अंडरस्टैंड वन थिंग इन टू अदर लैंग्वेजेस. तो
yeah,
अभी जैसे हम हिंदी उर्दू या इंग्लिश जो भी जानते हैं, प्रॉब्ली हिंदी वाला पार्ट, कि अगर हम हिंदी पोएट्स और हिंदी ऑथर्स को पढ़ेंगे तो हम जो बात समझेंगे वो शायद जो बंदा हिंदी सीख करके आया है उसको वो कभी समझ में आना बड़ा मुश्किल है.
yeah,
क्योंकि हम एक्चुअली वो हिंदी वर्ड्स के पीछे का मतलब शायद समझ पा रहे हैं. और एक जो बंदा जो
yeah,
सीख करके आया है, इवन दो ही नोज एंड ही अंडरस्टैंड्स ऑल दीज वर्ड्स, बट वो मतलब उसको शायद नहीं समझ में आएगा.
yeah.
तो शायद
It'll come
हमको
with
और
a lot
हिंदी
of
वाले,
practice.
हाँ हमको शायद हिंदी वाले और वर्क्स को पढ़ना चाहिए आई थिंक. क्योंकि वो वही है हमारे पास में जो हमारा है काइंड ऑफ, कि हम जैसे उसको
True.
समझ सकते हैं वो शायद दुनिया में और कोई नहीं समझ पाएगा.
Yeah. And I think that'll be different for different people in the chat as well.
बिल्कुल.
Yep. I also know the dialect like from my hometown.
ओके.
It's Malayalam. But yeah, the only German I knew was when somebody asked me something in German, I used to say this and run away. And then moment, then bitte, somewhere. One moment, please. But yeah. What are the languages that you aim for, like to learn in life?
like apart from Chinese, definitely German. क्योंकि
Yeah.
मेरे को जर्मन किताबें पढ़ना मतलब मेरी जिंदगी में बहुत जरूरी है मुझे लगता है. Is that is too distant and too alien culture कि इंग्लिश वाला हम पढ़ के ठीक है, फ्रेंच वाला थोड़ा इंग्लिश वाले से रिलेटेड चीज है, बट जर्मन आई थिंक बहुत ज्यादा ही अलग चीज है. और
Yeah.
आई थिंक बिकॉज ऑफ दैट रीजन ओनली आई एम वेरी मच इनटू चाइनीज एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स, क्योंकि वो एकदम ही अलग चीजें होंगी वहां पे, बिल्कुल
I
ही अलग.
was in class 11th when I read class 11 when I read The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak.
या
I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly. And usme there were like German words, and I would sit and learn them and take dictation. And I wanted to learn German so bad this time. I loved that book. I was obsessed with that book when it
I
came
am
out.
like still amazed that there are words in different languages which are not at all in other languages. मतलब there are things which you can convey in one language and the other language has no idea.
Yeah.
मतलब those people have no idea. वो बहुत खतरनाक चीज लगती है मेरे को. सही है यार. मतलब languages से मेरे को, if I can hijack this thing, this stream to again to Arrival.
Yeah.
तो if you remember the language of the aliens, जो उसमें बात चल रही थी. You have read that story,
Oh, yeah, we've read that story.
the story of our lives.
Yeah.
That is Arrival. Don't worry. That is what is Arrival.
Okay.
Of course, मूवी में बहुत भी चीज और भी चीजें हैं, बट या तो
Cool.
मैं बात कर रहा था कि वहां पे बात स्टार्ट होती है एलियंस की लैंग्वेजेस की. लाइक हाउ वुड यू एक्चुअली टैकल दिस प्रॉब्लम ऑफ टॉकिंग टू एलियंस और कम्युनिकेटिंग टू एलियंस. वो
Yeah.
मेरे को बड़ी प्यारी लगी थी वहां से. तो देर आर सर्टन थिंग्स जो कि अलग अलग लैंग्वेजेस में होती हैं और जो दूसरे लैंग्वेज वालों को पता भी नहीं होती हैं. वो मुझे
True.
काफी खतरनाक लगता है.
I remember we had Premchand, like pehle English. So I didn't pick up like Premchand, like Premchand ki Hindi kitabein and everything. I read Premchand in English first
Okay.
because there was this a January night, the January night or a January night, एक short story हमारे book में, and उसका Hindi translation is Puski Raat, and I had a very different impression of Premchand. Then I picked up Prem Ashram because I'm such a smart person, and I was scarred. I was so scarred. I didn't pick up Premchand for another 4 years or so. But yeah. Okay, I think there are a few comments. Let's just hit this them.
Okay.
I
मेरे पास कमेंट्स नहीं है, तो if you could read out.
oh cool, cool, cool. I think I think the whole world should use a universal language which everyone knows. Himanshu Rawat.
I don't actually agree
Yeah.
because language is very much tied to our culture. और वो ना पुराना जमाना लैंग्वेज में ही रहता है. तो अगर लैंग्वेज ही नहीं है तो वो आपका जमाना जा चुका है. तो
True.
yeah, I don't think this would work.
Yeah, I think like the fact that we have English, it's okay. We can
I think
communicate
it's
with
good
each
enough.
other.
हाँ बस वही.
Yeah, but having something like to take away like a basic, I don't know, it's just
This notion of forcing one language over
language.
this world, मतलब people should be able to choose whatever the language they want to convey.
Yeah.
हाँ बिल्कुल.
I mean, there are certain times when you just can talk in Hindi. You can't cry in English all the time.
एंड
So like,
एक बात मैं यहाँ पे वो बोलना चाहूँगा. बीइंग ये जो मेरी पढ़ाई चल रही है, तो मशीन लर्निंग और आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस से इन अबाउट अ ईयर और टू, नॉट ज़्यादा नहीं लगेगा टाइम. यू डोंट इवन नीड टू लर्न अ लैंग्वेज इन ऑर्डर टू कम्युनिकेट टू पीपल. मतलब जो भी आपको लैंग्वेज आती है दैट विल बी ऑटोमेटिकली ट्रांसलेटेड टू द लैंग्वेज ऑफ दिस अदर पर्सन. आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि वो किताबें आप वैसे ट्रांसलेट कर पाओगे. आई एम जस्ट सेइंग कि this notion of having one particular language for this whole world, we don't even need that right now, क्योंकि अब वो वाला काम हमारा मशीनें और कंप्यूटर्स कर देंगे आसानी से. तो we don't even need the translators or people learning 10 15 20 languages in order to communicate with people all around the world. You just need to know your language and the machine will do the rest. I think this is a good thing.
but then
We are
nobody would
living in a
want
good
to
world.
learn any new language.
People who actually are into that language and want to learn that language for the purpose of understanding that culture,
Yeah,
उनके लिए language learn करना रहेगा. But जिनको business और जिनको normal communication और meetings करनी है, उनके लिए थोड़ा आसान हो जाएगा जिंदगी. They don't actually need to be expert in other languages.
true. I don't know why this makes me sad. uh, okay. Um, uh, there are so many book suggestions. I don't know if you want to know them. All your cries are generally in mother tongue. This is something Saptarshi has written. I don't know. But series stupid. Okay, मुझे नहीं पता क्या चल रहा है comments में. Wait, this is
एक
so
सेकंड मैं खोल के
confusing.
देख ही लेता हूँ. ठीक
Yeah.
है.
Explain Datavani. Please talk about unabridged journals of Sylvia Plath someday. Also, it's expensive. Is it expensive? I bought it in college, so I don't remember how expensive it is. NCERT nahi padhi char. Okay. Mr. Pink has said hi, Tayyab. Twinton quarantine on this side. Here. Sorry.
Hello bhai, hello. How are you?
A question to you both. Your favorite book on magical realism?
Magical realism. Well, does it need to be a book that I have actually read? Yeah, I know a lot about. मतलब I could मैं Lord of the Rings बोल सकता हूँ. But yeah,
I haven't read Lord of the Rings book. Like I
neither have
saw the
I.
size, I wanted to buy it, but उसके बाद I was like, oh no, हमसे नहीं होगा.
नहीं, और वो एक किताब नहीं है, 3 किताबें हैं.
My brother just started reading Dune, and it's like 6 books long, and I was like, kids. But yeah.
But yes, if the story is good, तो फिर फर्क नहीं पड़ता है whether it is
Yeah.
100 pages or 600 pages.
Yeah.
But yeah, सही चल रहा
But
है.
it takes time to invest in a book. Like especially if you're doing series, it takes a lot of time, effort, investment. Like I don't know if it's because I'm getting old and I have a terrible memory, but like the book that I'm reading is just like roughly 500 pages long abhi. And उसी में like मुझे सारे character list बनानी पड़ जा रही है. And then on the next page I'll forget, oh shit, ये क्या करता था? And then it'll just be like उसका short name use किया instead of using the long name, and then it's just how stupid I am.
Earlier, I used to rate books based on this thing. If you are able to follow the names and the things happening in the book, तो मुझे लगता था कि this is a very good work by the author. But then when I read acclaimed काफी मतलब नामी किताबें and you don't actually follow these things, आप भूल
Yeah.
जाते हो फिर भी. तो मुझे लगता है this is more upon the reader to understand and remember. ये ऑथर
Yeah.
की गलती नहीं है, बिकॉज अगर वो यही याद कराता रहेगा आपको कि कौन कौन था तो फिर मजा नहीं आएगा किताब में.
True.
हाँ, तो वो आपका काम है रिलेट करना कि कौन क्या बोल रहा है और कौन कैसा है.
Yeah. But some names are like really different. Like, what is it? Cosmic Onyx, that Weber when I read sometimes, or
Okay.
used to, if Weber decides to return. But Comics by Italo Calvino, if I'm getting the name wrong, I'm really sorry. But usme like the titles were like QMMZQ, and I was like, I was like, what are you supposed to do, Mr. ZQQRST? I'm like, cool.
And
Okay.
you might find people who find that very amusing और उनको वो याद भी हो जाएगा एक बार में, but not everybody is
Yeah,
like that.
I envy people like that. Like when I was a child, I think I had good memory. Now I'm just like, what? I don't even remember the initial alphabet sometimes. That's so frustrating. I have to take notes of everything. Yep.
सही है.
I am so lazy that I haven't watched the LOTR films. LOTR?
Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Hey, neither have I, Jibin.
Neither have I. ठीक है, तो welcome to the club, buddy.
Cheers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I only have water, so. Yep. What is today's theme, Mr. Pink? We finished reading 3 chapters of The Little Prince. और अगर ऐसे ही चलता रहता तो we could have finished the entire book in no time, actually. Yep.
50% of the participants wanted to finish the book, but
50%? Are you calling myself 50%? Okay.
say yes.
Neither has Saptarishi. How many of you have actually seen A Lord of the Rings?
I think
Because Saptarshi
majority ने
hasn't,
देखी
Jivan
होगी.
hasn't, you haven't, I haven't. I feel good about myself now.
I don't. Every time there's a
Yeah, neither do I feel good about you because you're lost again. Like you're paused again.
हाँ, कुछ fun में चल रहा है.
It's a lot of karma.
नहीं, it's on me, not on you.
But I used to do this to Weber. Marquez was quite proud of his works, but after reading the translation, he admitted that it even was notch better than his. Quite a compliment coming from Marquez. Yes. I started watching LOT. I recently read a short story by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and I cannot remember the name. It's about a dentist and a person who has Tayyab has left. He's back. Okay, even me. Okay, no name number two. Me. Have you seen LOT like Lord of the Rings, or is it for the Queen's Gambit, which Mr. Pink has asked everyone about? I started watching LOTR extended cut, but I gave up after discovering that the third film was long. If you ever decide to watch LOTR, make sure to watch the director's cut. Thank you for that tip, Sagar. One of the only set of films that comes close or gets better than the books. Gargi. Gargi said like she has the only set of films that comes close or gets better than the books. So I think that's a judgment there. You can skip the books for that. Although I wouldn't recommend it. Shangreta, just let me know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Shangreta. I will soon, but one movie is 4 hours long. I don't want to. Neither do I. It takes me it took me a day to finish a 15-minute long short story. I'm that lazy. I've seen it's good but overrated. Just my opinion. All cool, Himanshu. Saptarshi Tayyab has become the little prince once. He has. It's karma, as I think Himanshu pointed out initially. Please read Goodnight Pun Pun. Oh, we can actually. That's interesting. Thank you for the. I'm just going to take a note of it. Quick note of it. Yep. And yeah. Fight Club is better than the book. One of these days, Vani, that show. Yeah, sure, we can do that. It's just that every time, like, so Weber, when I do this stream usually, and Weber gets excited about sci-fi, so I and I also get to discover sci-fi, so I'm always excited about sci-fi. But maybe next time we can pick up Gabriel Garcia Marquez's short stories. What do you think? Please let me know. Gabriel Garcia Marquez excites me so much. I'm sorry. I'm new to the channel. Do you do this full time? No, I do not, Arnav. And welcome to the channel. What are your favorite series on the channel? Have you seen any recommendations? Have you taken any recommendations? Do you like anything? Please let me know. Don't read Goodnight Pun. Okay, cool. I'll just do a quick search of it and let's see what Goodnight Pun is. It's a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Inyo Asano. So why not? We can do that. What's your reservation against Goodnight Pun Pun? I don't care how many names pronounced, it's all good. Thank you so much. But it would really help. It would be really helpful if you could still anyway help. I have a habit of like speaking things in my mouth. So when I'm left alone on a stream, I start doing that because I forget I'm streaming. I guess Tayyab really liked the prestige. I think he did, Vishal. That was cool. That was a good joke. No name number two, cool art though. Oh yeah, Sumi Punpan is guys. Okay. Ekta manga. That means one, right? Um, cool. So I don't know. I tried reading 100 100 Years of Solitude, but the names of the characters were too confusing. Don't you find them confusing? Yes, Salim. I get confused by most. Like, if a book has more than 5 characters, chances are I'll be confused, even more than 2. So I make a list of, so I use a lot of sticky notes, and I usually, on the first page, I write the character, and if I have a lot of time, like I used to do this in college, if I was like winter vacations, या कुछ होता था, I would even write qualities about them so that if I have to imagine them as I read, it isn't a problem. But yeah, I make a list of all the characters, and in terms of like 100 Years of Solitude, like I say, family sagas hote hain, I usually draw family charts as well because it's very helpful. Uh, Talk about Bihar politics. Your favorite TV series? I am not. I don't watch a lot of TV series, but the one that I have seen most recently has to be Fleabag, and I was rewatching House MD, and yep. Um, so I'm pretty certain you're going to be disappointed by this. Uh, Anyone watched Ready Player One here? Best fiction. Okay, hi Tayyab, you're
Hello.
back.
I am very very sorry. मैं दूसरे का मोबाइल उठा के लाया हूँ तो it took
It's
me some time.
completely fine. What is your favorite TV series?
क्या आप लोगों को आवाज आ रही है? Because I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. क्या चल रहा है भाई? मुझे
What is
लगा
your
था कि
favorite
हो गया
TV
पूरा.
series? It's a rapid fire round for you.
हाँ. True Detective first season.
True Detective first season. Cool. Um, have you seen Ready Player One here? Anyone has seen Ready Player One here? Best fiction book according to you?
Best fiction book according to me. Okay. I don't know. The Time Traveler's Wife.
That's good. What I got confused reading anime. I am sorry, Avinash, I did not understand your
क्यों कहाँ
question.
जा रहे हैं हम? मुझे ये एकदम से व्यूअर्स ने हाईजैक क्यों कर लिया हमारी स्ट्रीम को?
Because you left and I was left alone.
I am so sorry.
TR is like, yes, initially 100 Years of Solitude is confusing. Have you read any Gabriel Garcia Marquez? Have you read about 100 Years of Solitude?
I have, and we did have a talk about it. और आपने मुझे बोला था we should read it, but थोड़ा depressing है शायद
Yeah.
किताब. I will read
Yeah.
it one day. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I think the book comes with the family chart. Yeah, him and my book actually has the family chart. Actually, I'll have to confirm. Any book recommendations? Fanny say.
The Little Prince, please do. अगर नहीं पढ़ी है तो मैं तो ये recommend करूँगा because मैंने 3 chapter पढ़े हैं and I'm in love in this book. मतलब,
Yeah.
please do.
Any book recommendations? Fanny say. You know, there's a pretty cool series, and I think उसका 30th episode अभी आया था.
Oh.
It's on Chalchitra Talks book recommendation series.
What
So
is
you
that?
can actually check it out for any book recommendations. Yep. Tayyab, have you seen True Detective season 3?
Season 2, season 3 शायद देखा यार क्योंकि 2 was not so good तो मैंने छोड़ दिया फिर उसको. पता नहीं है. If I will ever remember True Detective तो वो season 1 ही रहेगा. तो yeah.
Hemant is asking, are we done reading The Little Prince? I mean, we read the first 3 chapters and then no one seemed interested anymore, so we quit. But we read the first 3 chapters, so Hemant, yeah. But if you want us to do it again, I'll be happy to do it anytime.
बिल्कुल भाई, बिल्कुल. और मैं तो बोलता हूँ आप खुद पढ़िए एक बार. If you've never read it, तो as I am, you will be in for a big surprise
so
also.
I think on Monday we'll be back and we'll discuss The Little Prince because
for sure.
पढ़ चुका होगा.
बिल्कुल,
And
बिल्कुल.
so my Monday का stream का content is sorted. Thank you so much.
Maybe हम वैभव को भी लेके आ पाए इसके अंदर. Maybe.
If
We'll
only
see.
Vaibhav hasn't read the book. He hasn't even touched the book, and I was like, shit. इससे अच्छा क्या मुझे sci-fi देना चाहिए था कुछ. But yeah.
I think अपन दोनों मिलके वैभव को challenge दे सकते हैं that he has about 2-3 days. to read
Yes.
this
And it's
65
only
page
like,
book.
I think it'll only take you like 3 hours to finish reading the book. 3
I
hours.
don't मुझे लगता है 1 घंटे में हो जाएगी because book की speed बढ़ती चली जाएगी as you read it. मुझे लगता
Yeah.
है. I am being too much optimistic. But हाँ 1 डेढ़ घंटे के
Yeah.
अंदर किताब खत्म.
Okay. Tayyab is
Going by the
gone.
PDF.
Okay. Tayyab, you're stuck again. I don't know why.
Yeah, come on.
Yep. Uh,
Can
sure.
you guys hear me? Yeah, वो भी गया.
Y- Attack attack kya hai, but yeah, we
I
can
think
try.
I'll say my goodbyes.
Cool. I'll also end the stream in some time then. Great. Bye, Tayyab. Good night. I think you can't. Can you hear me? No. Cool. So I think it'll be. Yep, Tayyab has left. Okay. So where were we? So we read the first 3 chapters of The Little Prince because it's one of my favorite books, and I was super excited to do this today. And I have also gifted this book to Vaibhav. Vaibhav ne abhi tak ise touch bhi nahi kiya. I gifted him 2 books. He hasn't touched either. But let's do another stream on Monday. And if you guys haven't read The Little Prince, iska PDF bahut aaram se online mil jayega, and maybe we can discuss it on Monday. And it'll be pretty fun. But yeah. Um, Someone is asking what is the gist of The Little Prince. So, Little Prince, I don't know, the dedication, I will just quickly reread the dedication. So, maybe you'll get an understanding or you'll at least be inspired because I do not know how to give you the gist of it. It's just about um, there's one line. Okay, I'll just read the dedication and says,
Hello, can you hear me?
yes, we can.
तो मैं ये बोलता हूँ कि you continue with the stream, ठीक है?
Yes, certainly. Good night, Tayyab. Yeah, I think he's gone again. So, to Leon Worth, I ask the indulgence of the children who may read this book for dedicating it to a grown up. I have a serious reason. He is the best friend I have in the world. I have another reason. This grown up understands everything, even books about children. I have a third reason. He lives in France where he is hungry and cold. He needs cheering up. If all these reasons are not enough, I will dedicate the book to the child from whom this grown up grew. All grown ups were once children, although few of them remember it. And so I correct my dedication to Leon Worth when he was a little boy. So this book is essentially about this person who, okay, this book is about a person who's grown up and not grown up, but this book is about the author is a grown up and he meets a child. And that's all what the book is about. And it's pretty interesting because I think somewhere you find yourself in these in this book. So yep. Fanny C says a little prince is lying with me since like for 10 years now and she has never read it. Well, yeah. Um, Great. I'm alone again. Yes, Changrita. Shangrita. You have to teach me how to pronounce your name though. And yeah, Tayyab is saying sorry, but that's completely all right, Tayyab. We'll be back again on Monday, and then you can't ditch us or ghost me. Not it's not ghosting, but disappear on me. But yeah, Jibin PK, you should take full advantage of the privilege of reading it in Malayalam. Does it have a Malaya? Like, are we still talking about the Little Prince? Weber is in the comments. Yes, Vaibhav, Tayyab, and I just gave you a challenge. You're supposed to finish the book, The Little Prince, and join us on the Monday stream because everyone's very excited and is really disappointed because that you still haven't finished The Little Prince. But yeah, so it was pretty interesting, guys. Let me know if you've read The Little Prince. And on Monday, like Tayyab ne book nahi padhi thi. Tayyab ko maine PDF bheja iska just like 5 minutes. I think not five. बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया. Half an hour before the live, and he said that he read the first chapter and he couldn't keep it down. But then, yep, So we've decided Monday tak Tayyab will be done with the book, and we will reread it. We will discuss it on a Monday live. So, yep, let me know if you guys will be interested. And you can also write to me on vanimahesh04@gmail.com and let me know if there are any other books that you want me to talk about. Because Monday streams, I think I like to dedicate Monday streams to a particular author or a book. So let me know if there's something you want me to read or you want me to discuss. And I think it was a pretty काफी मजा आया guys. So yep. And all of you who are watching, do read The Little Prince if you haven't, like Mr. Pink will. And Weber will. And we can discuss it on the Monday live stream. And I'm so excited about it. You can also let me know if you want to join the stream on my Instagram or Twitter. And also you can email to me on vanimahesh04@gmail.com. So yep. Oh, no name number two is like, you're very mean. Whoever would like it, but it's, I'm just going to enjoy it for a second. uh, Sacred K. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm really sorry. The Little Prince is the most overrated book ever. Oh, it's okay. I don't know. I'm working really hard to be really kind, like to be extremely kind this week. The book that I think gonna stay with me for my whole life is The Catcher in the Rye. Make a stream about it. Hey, Adnan, I actually did a stream on Catcher in the Rye a few weeks ago. It was really nice. So yeah, Vishal Patil says homework ye. Yeah, so आज की stream में guys हमें homework भी मिल गया. We're going to read The Little Prince and we will come back on Monday with The Little Prince. So काफी interesting होगा. And like I said, if you have any suggestions, you can email me, Vani Mahesh, AANI, @04, no, vanimahesh04@gmail.com, or you can um, DM me on Instagram, or you can actually, yeah, okay. So I think that'll be it for today. Have a beautiful and peaceful night. And no name number to keep on roasting web. It's nice, it's fun. But yeah, bye guys.